I can't believe as soon as we go to start this show, I get the notification that they revealed the WrestleMania stage.
And yes, you can't make it up.
You cannot make it up. But that's how we're starting the show today.
25, this program begins now. WrestleMania is what the entire world is talking about.
He needs to shut up.
Come on, Pat.
Just come outside for the night. Take your time. Get your life.
Okay.
Okay, very reminiscent. First of all, the pyro budget's gone.
Yep, that was all of it.
Kind of looked like a combination of like 39 and 22.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But that's not why we're here today.
No, it is not.
It is, as of the time this gets posted, give or take 3 hours from the first playoff games for the Stanley Cup 2025 playoffs. Tyler Dell alongside Andrew Micaria here for The Sauce, episode number 19. We cannot thank you enough for spending part of your WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania weekend, Easter weekend. Easter's not important with us today. Andrew, how you doing?
Coming to you live from the Batmobile once again. You know what? We're out here. We're a version of homeless, and we're chilling.
Yeah, there's no such thing as homeless. Can you sleep in there?
Listen, luckily I have my parents' house to sleep in while my new condo gets redone. So we're chilling. We're all right.
So we originally planned on having this done Wednesday, posted Thursday. Montreal just didn't want to play nice and lost like 3 of their last 5.
Yep.
To complicate the matter here. I think it's very safe to say whoever made the playoffs over Montreal and Columbus, they weren't going to get very far anyway.
No.
But we thought it was respectful to let them play it out for the last spot first before suing.
Of course.
So, with that being said, this is probably going to be one of the more interesting playoffs that we've had in the last few years. A couple of teams making it back into the playoffs for the first time in a little while. A lot of teams returning, and a lot of those regular season pretenders probably getting thrown out of the playoffs pretty early this year.
Or they keep pretending. Who knows?
So, you have a bracket. I have a bracket.
Indeed.
Our good friend, our third man, Al Carl, and the Capitals Ice Crew created us a bracket.
Oh my God!
I think we know how that one's going to end.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I think most people think about how this is going to end. I don't see any other way around it, really.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain Russian cyborg on a mission right now.
Yes, Alexander Radulov makes his return to the Predators. All right, so let's run through these first round matchups. We have Toronto taking on Ottawa, Tampa Bay and Florida, the battle for the weird pointy state. Capitals are going to take on Montreal, Carolina and New Jersey, rounding out the Eastern Conference side of the bracket. And on the West, we have Winnipeg, St. Louis, Dallas and Colorado, Vegas, Minnesota, and the Kings taking on the Oilers. So let's just jump right to arguably best playoff series, not in the first round, probably in the whole bracket. Let's just jump right into Dallas, Colorado.
Yeah, that series is going to be electric. The question is, does Dallas have enough defense to stop Colorado, considering Miro hasn't played since January? Jason Robertson left their last game in a boot. If neither of them play, or even if one of them play, I don't think they have much of a chance to win that series. They need both of those players to play.
So where I'm at, it's a 7-game series no matter what. Neither one is going to roll over for the other. They're going to go two.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Colorado. I think outside of the fact that Miro hasn't played in a little bit, Jason Robertson's now walking around like a transformer. I feel like you think Colorado's going to get back McKinnon at some point in this first round, maybe not the first game or two.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as soon as they put Landeskog on the ice, it's gonna be like they're gonna just kind of ride that high.
It's gonna be like Thanos getting the last Infinity Stone.
It's pretty much the Infinity Landeskog. I feel it's just that team now. Just listen, we said it a couple months ago. Any team, if any team did the most damage and the most work during the trade deadline to prepare for this playoff, it was Colorado.
Yeah.
Goaltending is obviously always going to be a little bit of a question for them. I know the jury's kind of out on Blackwood if he's a true starter or not.
Yeah.
Playoff Jay Ottinger is definitely on another planet.
Yep.
But listen, I mean, you've seen with the league's best goalies in the world, and we both saw it firsthand this year with Shesterkin and Sorokin. If you have nothing in front of you, it does not matter how good you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I consider it a wash offensively. Dallas has the edge in goaltending, but Colorado has such a massive edge in defense. It's so lopsided.
Yeah, and these are going to be, all 7 of these games they're going to be, there's not going to be a 6-2, 6-3 blow. These are all going to be 4-3, 5-4, 3-2. These are going to be
grindy, long, painful games.
I'm going to use my one free pass here, but they're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the best matchups of the entire playoffs.
Yeah, this is the best matchup of the playoffs by far. So then we go to we'll stay on the West. We'll go to Vegas, Minnesota. I feel like there's too many question marks still around Minnesota's roster about who's going to be in, who's going to be out. Vegas again is just going to be a playoff juggernaut. They'll probably, if they want to, they can make a West Finals push really without trying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Flower's going to do his usual bailing people out nonsense. I'm gonna give it to Vegas, but I'm gonna give it to him in 6.
Yeah, I just don't see a way Minnesota can win this series with all the injuries and all the issues they've had against an absolute unit like Vegas. Give me Vegas in 5 or 6.
Which is a shame because 3 months ago we would have all been looking at each other like, oh, all right, Minnesota's like legitimately in the cup conversation.
Yeah. But you know what? In the last 20 years, how many times have we said that about Minnesota going into the first round and then the flame goes out?
Well, how many times have we said it about? I'm going to hold off.
Hold on.
Well, I'm going to hold off on that one. I think the second best series on the West side, and again, it doesn't. I don't think it's even remotely close. It's going to be the Kings and the Oilers. Now, I know we don't really see eye to eye on this one.
No, apparently not.
I'm taking Edmonton in 6. We talk about Dallas and Colorado where the offense is a wash. It's going to come down to who makes the least amount of defensive mistakes.
Yep.
I feel like in this series, it's like every other game you play against Edmonton, it's who's going to stop McDavid and Draisaitl. Because listen, we've seen
it's always a question. Yeah.
Once you keep them at bay, you're usually good. You know what I mean? Like you very much get through them. You have an aging Drew Doughty who's still playing above average hockey for his age.
Yep.
But can he keep up with them at a playoff speed now?
We're gonna find out. So I went LA. Give me LA in 6 or 7. My thing with LA, it's kind of a theme throughout this whole playoffs, is they were 31-5-4 at home this year. To me, the pressure is all on Edmonton to not lose a home game. I think the second LA wins a game in Edmonton, that series is over. Crypto.com Arena is a fortress.
A beautiful one, mind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to think. Obviously, the regular season home record is going to play a role in all this. So that definitely puts an edge in the Kings' pocket. I don't know off the top of my head what the Oilers' home record was this year.
I want to say it was somewhere in the realm of 26 wins.
I'm going to take
25, 26 wins.
Team stats, player stats. I guess it would be under team stats, right? No, it's not scheduled. Not here either.
It's just, I'm just going to the standings.
Yeah, I probably should just do that, right? That would
And
make.
scroll to the right a little bit.
Listen, shush.
Hey, man. Just trying to help.
Well, I'm also using the score, not the NHL website. That's half my problem.
Oh, well, I've quite literally never used that app. So
Can't say I blame you. Let's see. The Oilers. And I can't even see it because they've converted into bracket mode now.
Oh, my God. Just use ESPN like a normal person.
Why don't you shut up? Okay. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure they had in the 26 win realm.
It was around there. It was close. Let me see.
It's funny. They finished with what, 99 or 101 points, and their season didn't look that good because of how stacked the West is.
Yeah. Let's see. So the Oilers home record was 25-13-3. The Kings home record was 31-6-4. You know I gave it a 6-game series, and I'm kind of regretting that.
Yes.
Because listen, like I said, LA is a juggernaut at home.
Yep.
I wouldn't call Edmonton a juggernaut at home, but they play very well in their own building.
Yes.
The Kings do not play 500 hockey on the road.
Mm.
They are 17, 19, and 5 in road games this year.
This is fair.
And the Oilers are 23, 16, and 2 on the road.
Yeah, give me LA.
You still take LA?
I think they don't have to play 500 hockey on the road. They have to win 1 of 4. Because, again, I don't think they lose at home. That's their game plan. Win at home, win 1 of 4 on the road.
Well, they only have to win 3 road games because they're the high seed. They only
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
they don't have to win any. Okay, never mind. But yeah, I'm thinking they were the 3 seed. They have to just win it all.
Pretty much.
And Edmonton has to take a game in LA.
Okay. I'm going to solidify my opinion right now, and this is how I'm going to feel for the rest of the time.
Okay.
Whoever wins game 1 is winning the series.
I can get behind that.
Because if Edmonton can pull out a win in LA in game 1, that puts
That's big.
Tremendous pressure on LA.
Yeah, it's massive.
If Edmonton loses game 1, there's pressure, obviously. You never want to lose the first game.
Of course.
But the pressure is definitely it's not as heavy on their shoulders as it would be for LA, knowing that, okay, we lost the first game, but we're still going home. You play one more game and you're leaving.
Yes.
Because, I mean, listen, if you're Edmonton, and again, we've seen Edmonton play God knows how many times since McDavid and Draisaitl got into the league.
Yeah.
Edmonton can lose game one, and they are very capable of winning 3 straight after that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I think if you're Edmonton, listen, the goal obviously always should be to stay out of your opponent's building as much as you can.
Yep.
If you're Edmonton, you have to stay out of you cannot go back to LA for a game 7. That has to be your only goal.
No, that's a death sentence.
That is a death sentence. So win it in 5 or win it in 6. You're not sweeping LA. Let's just call it as it is.
No.
If you sweep LA, something happened.
That's crazy.
To round off the Western Conference round 1, we have the wonderful love story St. Louis Blues versus, in my opinion, the world's largest playoff pretender in this bracket, the Winnipeg Jets.
That's certainly a thought.
And St. Louis will move on to play Colorado in 7 games.
I am not aboard the love and hype train of the St. Louis Blues. I think this is one of the biggest mismatches in the playoffs. Give me Winnipeg in 5 or 6.
So I'm going to be fair. I was with you until like 3 people got hurt in the last week.
And you know what? That is a good reason for you to switch sides. I'm kind of Hellebuck's not going to allow them to be a first round exit.
I just feel, and this is going to be I'm going to end up repeating everything I'm saying again in the Eastern Conference side. You know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Winnipeg is just nothing about them screams serious cup contender to me. It's one of those things where, like, up until last year, it was the same thing for how many years with Edmonton? Second round,
yeah.
West Finals, second round. They couldn't make that jump into the finals. Yeah. I'm not going to say nobody takes them seriously, but no one's going to believe you're a legitimate contender until you get there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Winnipeg. They'll probably get through the first round. I'm taking St. Louis just because I think the injuries for Winnipeg, I think losing Ehlers for at least the first round.
Yeah.
I think that hurts that team a lot more than people are willing to acknowledge.
That's a huge blow.
It's a tremendous blow.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I round out the second round of the Western Conference side of the bracket with St. Louis playing Colorado, Vegas playing Edmonton. But before we get into those, let's jump over to the East.
Let's do it.
Toronto, Ottawa, extremely lopsided, 5 games to Toronto.
I am right on the same page. I think this is the actual biggest mismatch in the entire playoffs, the entire first round.
The only reason I would say Ottawa has a fighting chance in this is going to be how far Ullmark can take them.
Yeah. That's the only thing they can lean on. They don't have enough to keep up with Toronto, just straight up.
No.
If Toronto loses in the first round all the time, if they lose to Ottawa in the first round this year, that's a problem.
No, you can't lose. And I know an older version of myself like to bash on Toronto, but you cannot lose a Canadian first round of the playoffs and show your face through Canada for the rest of the season, for the rest of the summer.
No, that core 4 of Toronto cannot lose to Brady Tkachuk, Drake Batherson, and Shane Pinto.
And Closure
Room, sorry. Ugh.
Yeah. And I also feel like Toronto's going to be playing. Listen, again, you'd hope in playoffs any team is playing with a little extra.
Yeah.
But I think knowing you're going to lose, you probably will lose Tavares in free agency. You're almost guaranteed losing Marner in free agency.
Yeah.
I feel like they're definitely going to play. Like, this is our last shot to do this as a group.
Now is the time.
Yeah. So I feel like they're going to be playing with even more going into this. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Toronto in 5.
Yep. Right. Same with you.
Now, Tampa, Florida is a little.
This is more split than I thought it was going to be. I'm surprised at how split it is.
So let's see. Where are you at with this?
It's going to be I'm going to use the word grotesque series. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to go 7. But I don't see Tampa winning this. I don't see them knocking Florida out in the first round after Florida, the Florida's defending their cup championship. I don't think Tampa has Tampa's losing gas in the overall scheme of things. I don't think they have it to keep up with Florida.
So I have Florida in 5.
Okay, you're even more on the Florida side than me. Fun.
I'm going to kind of echo a lot of what you were saying about Tampa, but they're coming to the tail end of this. I don't want to call it juggernaut team, but they're coming to the tail end of this type of run that team had that has honestly lived probably 2 or 3 years longer than it should have.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team spend first-round picks, bring in players, sign contracts, and they're still somehow managing to stay afloat. It doesn't make sense how they're doing what they're doing. I think, and I'm sure Tampa's front office might agree, I think not bringing Stamkos back this year hurt that team a lot more than they thought it would.
Yeah.
And I just think Florida is, again, it's just kind of, it's funny too, because this is a Florida team where last year everybody was saying that Florida was going to end up being a lottery team this year because of how much they were losing and how much they didn't have to bring them back.
Yeah.
And here we are again. It's almost the same exact roster.
It really is.
Seeing what Florida was doing to teams last year in the playoffs and seeing kind of how they bullied the league this year in the regular season, I don't see a world where Florida loses this. And I don't see a world where Matt Tkachuk doesn't make Kucherov want to rip his face off.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be entertaining.
I don't care who you are. I don't think if you look across the ice and you see Matt Tkachuk, like, you worry about the skill, obviously, to begin with, but he's going to do something or whisper something in your ear as he skates to piss you off.
You're going to be uncomfortable the entire series.
Yeah. I don't think we need to spend too much time on Washington and Montreal.
No, I mean, Montreal will give up a little bit of a fight, but Washington's going to dog walk them.
So I'm going to give the Capitals. I'm going to give it to them in 6. I do feel like in this particular matchup, the home crowd will play the most advantage here. Because if you look, you look up and down the entirety of the bracket. Winnipeg's been in the playoffs for God knows how many years. Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, even Minnesota. The Kings have been back in for a few years. Edmonton's been in every year for like 7 years. Toronto's been in every year. Tampa and Florida are in almost every year. Montreal is one of the 2 or 3 teams on here that has not been in for a substantial period of time. Even the Devils have been in within the last 5 years.
Yep.
That team and that fan base is hungry for a playoff series. I could definitely see a world where the Capitals just cannot function in Montreal during a playoff game.
I expect to see this series tied at 2, and then Washington kind of locks it. Like, all right, let's stop messing around.
I'm expecting Washington to take 1 and 2, Montreal to take 3 and 4, and then I'm expecting Washington to take 5 and 6.
Yep, exactly. Because that Bell Center is going to be rocking.
Yeah. And then the other team I'm going to absolutely rip apart, the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils.
Oh, man. In a world that we live in with so many fun first-round matchups, we get a snooze fest. This is so boring.
So am I going to call it boring?
Yes. I'm going to call it boring. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump a little bit ahead of myself right here. New Jersey in 7.
Sure.
Very much so piggybacking off of what I said about Winnipeg. The Hurricanes have 40, 45 win. What did they have this year? They had to be in the 40s again.
Yeah, I think so.
47 wins this year. They're 47 wins. They didn't even break 100 points. Bunch of losers. I don't even know how does that math even math?
Did they just lose every game in regulation that they lost?
47 times 2 is 94.
It's 94.
And
They didn't lose 6 games in overtime?
They lost 5 games in overtime.
Incredible.
So I'm just like, for me, it's just kind of like, it like I said, it very much so mirrors Winnipeg. They get to the playoffs and they just do nothing. There's no reason to take this Carolina team seriously in the playoffs.
I feel the same way about the Devils.
The Devils, I feel, because of all the injuries they have, obviously they're probably not getting Jack Hughes back for the series. If they did, I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
Because they probably after the 2 separate free falls they went on between January and April, and not having they're missing Hughes, are they missing Heischer? I forgot. I don't think they are.
I think he came back.
Okay. They just got back Dougie Hamilton. You're in a position where you can't get a lottery pick. You probably won't go too far. You have nothing to lose. Just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just that Carolina is better at basically every position except for goaltender.
I just think that the Devils can play just a much looser series because there's nothing on the line for them here.
Yeah.
You know, Carolina, again, they're going into they're going to go into a playoff where they can either repeat themselves again and they don't make it out of the first or second round.
Well, let me say this. All this series is warming up Washington's dinner. Whoever comes out of this series is going to get eaten alive by the Capitals.
You said it, not me. So to round out the East, I have Toronto, Florida, and the Capitals playing the Devils, and I believe you had the same.
Yeah, I have the Hurricanes coming out of that series. But other than that, I have the same thing.
So now, before we move on to the second round, I will read through the Capital bracket from Al. They have St. Louis over Winnipeg, Colorado over Dallas, Minnesota over Vegas, LA over Edmonton, Ottawa over Florida, and the Capitals and Devils.
Wait, did you just say they have Ottawa over Toronto?
Yes.
Wow. And Minnesota over Vegas.
I mean, listen, at the risk of the muffler of my car being violated, it is understandable to think why people would think Ottawa was going to get through the first round.
No, it's completely understandable. I'm just surprised.
So
I'm more surprised about Minnesota.
You know, I know we're saying that Vegas is probably going to win that series in 5, maybe 6 games. I just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the absolute most surprising thing in the world if Minnesota came around and did it.
No, I mean Minnesota is they a lot of veterans that know what they're doing.
Well, I mean, also just think about it. I mean, we talk about Toronto riding the high of being, this being the last playoff with the core 4. Colorado riding the Landeskog high should he play, and I think it's the worst kept secret in the world. He is playing.
Yep.
Minnesota's also going to be riding that, like, let's get this Fleury guy one more cup.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind a Washington-Minnesota Cup final. Obviously, I didn't pick that to happen, but I wouldn't mind that at all.
I mean, listen, for me, the most attractive Cup final here that I would actually want to see would be like an Ottawa, Minnesota. Just 2 teams nobody ever thought about, and just be like, where the hell is this going?
If I'm being honest, the thought of it's not going to happen, of a Toronto, Colorado Cup final is kind of hot.
I don't like you. So going into the second round, so remember for the West, I have St. Louis, Colorado. You have Vegas. I have Vegas and Edmonton. I believe you had the same minus St. Louis.
I have Winnipeg, Colorado, Vegas, and LA.
Yes, I should probably write that down as I go so I don't keep. Okay, so For me, St. Louis, Colorado. This is where the St. Louis Swan Song ends. Colorado's going to take them out in 6. I'm trying to. I think it's going to be more like 4 or 5. I can absolutely see Colorado sweeping them. I was trying to be a little bit more generous to St. Louis, only because they are a talented team. They are just inexperienced.
Yeah, I get that. So for me, obviously, I have Winnipeg versus Colorado. I think I initially took Winnipeg, but upon further review, I'm taking Colorado. Just every extra second I spend thinking about Colorado, the more scared of them I get.
Yeah. Listen, Colorado is probably, as crazy as this might sound, next to Toronto and probably Edmonton too. They're probably the most they're the most seasoned playoff team here.
With just crazy star power.
With that's the other thing too, is you have a roster mostly under 30 now with insane amounts of playoff experience.
And if Landeskog suits up, it's all ogre. That's going to be, wow. I hope he suits up. That'd be so much fun.
I mean, listen. I think that's the X factor for the entire playoffs. If he dresses, Colorado probably is going to the Cup final.
They're not going to be stopped. Yeah,
and you would hope if Landeskog can net his first in front of the Colorado crowd.
Oh my God!
That the place is going to go berserk.
Unbelievable.
Then we move on to, for me, Vegas, Edmonton. For you, Vegas, LA. I will take Edmonton in that in 7 over Vegas.
I will take LA in 7. So we both have Vegas losing in the second round.
Vegas has no prayer, in my opinion.
The Kings being juggernauts at home is a very main plot point to my bracket.
Yeah, I can definitely listen. I can get behind it. I just think Edmonton's way more loaded, and the home record is just not going to end up mattering. So to the east side of the bracket, I have Capitals Devils. You have Capitals Carolina.
Murder on TV.
And we are both on the same page with Toronto, Florida.
Yep.
So as far as the Capitals Devils go, again, this is where the Devils' nice happy story is going to end. It is going to end in 5 games.
Yeah, the Capitals are going to, in my bracket, destroy the Hurricanes in 5 or 6 games.
And then Toronto and Florida. Where'd you go with it?
I'm going Florida. Toronto, you made it out of the first round. Well done. Florida's going to beat you.
I'm going Toronto in 7.
Wow. This guy got Toronto going to the ECF. How times have changed.
Again, I just think that the high of being on that core 4 team, and this is going to more than likely be their last run as a unit. It's going to speak volumes for them, you know?
Yeah. That's going to be a great series if that comes to fruition.
I just feel like this is also the most complete Toronto team we've seen in the last 5 or 6 playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no glaring issue that everyone's talking about. They're solid front and back. Because through the years, it's always been, oh my God, their defense is a massive hole. Oh my God, they don't have goaltending. They don't have that this year. They're good front to back.
Yeah, and then obviously, like I said before, you think they're not going. You think they're going to move on from Tavares. Marner is definitely going to be moving on, which is going to free up a lot of money for them and help them rebuild on the back end and maybe within the net. I think, and we'll probably get into it more in a couple of weeks when the playoffs are over, but Toronto, Marner and Tavares leaving is probably going to be the best thing to happen to this team.
Yeah, probably.
Well, between Marner and Tavares alone, you're freeing up $22 million.
Yeah, it's just that's 2 superstars.
That's 2 superstars or 3 top 4 defensemen or a superstar defenseman and a goalie. they can go so many routes with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to go too much on one of our ever so famous tangents here, but when you look at Toronto, and I understand you're not going to get the same production, so to speak, but if you're Toronto, you lose Marner, you can bring in a guy like Brock Besser.
Yeah.
Probably $8-9 million a year.
I mean, it's going to be half to 3/4 of what Marner is going to get.
Right. So, you can you could sacrifice, let's say 40, 50 points for $5 or $6 million in savings and make up those points elsewhere.
And if he's playing with Matthews, he might match Marner's point total. You never know.
Yeah.
Because Besser is a damn good hockey player.
So, moving into the East and West finals, I have Colorado Edmonton, you have Colorado LA.
Yep.
And I have Toronto and Washington, you have Florida and Washington. The Ice Crew from the Capitals have Florida playing Washington and Colorado playing Minnesota.
Wow, they're big on Mini.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of stock in Minnesota.
For real, man. A lot of stock in Marc-Andre Fleury.
So, West Finals. Again, I'm going Colorado Edmonton. You're going Colorado LA.
Yep.
And I don't think it matters who Colorado plays. Colorado is going to the Cup this year.
I have the Los Angeles Kings going to the Cup.
I have Colorado in 7.
LA. The conference finals going 7 either way. LA in 7.
I think the conference finals on both sides is going 7, in all honesty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think if you're Colorado and you've made it, if they, I'm not going to say if they find a way to squeeze through the first 2 rounds, because they can very easily. But if you make it through the first 2 rounds, let's say effortlessly, let's say with Landeskog, there's no excuse to not make it out of the West Finals now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not egregious to say that Colorado's toughest test would be in round 1.
No, Colorado has the toughest test here. I mean, listen, I think regardless of how that series goes, Dallas or Colorado, I legitimately think that we could be talking about whoever wins that series is going to the Cup final.
As long as whoever wins didn't get beaten to a pulp, yes.
Like, I think that's another thing. Like, that's something people need to consider. Like, one of your first round matchups is a West Finals matchup.
Yep.
So Colorado, although on paper will tell you otherwise, they have to play the West Finals twice.
Yeah.
And you could almost argue, and I mean this in the best way, whether it be Edmonton, LA, Vegas, or Minnesota, none of those teams are going to be as hard of a matchup as the Dallas series.
Which really plays into why I chose LA to beat Colorado, because I'm expecting Colorado to have the absolute expletive beaten out of them in the first round, and I think they might run out of gas.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't fight it. I just, again, it comes down to Colorado being seasoned. They know how to handle this situation. And you could see it even when they play in the regular season. They know when to put the foot on the gas. They know when to take the foot off. Like, you see a guy make a bad decision and, that's just lazy. He should be benched next game. But when you see Colorado do it, it's like, well, yeah, they're up 4 goals. Why are they?
Yeah.
Like, they're not obviously not going to keep their foot on the gas here.
Yeah.
And in Colorado, I feel like is just so good at gauging that.
Mm-hmm.
Where like they could be up. Let's just say let's pretend they'll be up 3-1 on Dallas, and it almost reminds me of like the Trotz system, where it's like they won't put their foot on the gas until like maybe halfway through the second period.
Yeah, I get you.
I think Colorado's coming out of the West this year.
If I didn't pick LA, Colorado would be right there for me.
So out of the East, we have Toronto and Washington, and this is where Toronto's love story ends. And Toronto will lose to the Capitals in 7.
I have Washington beating Florida in 7.
I think it's just the things Washington is doing this year is just despicable. And they have no reason being as good as they are because this was, and I'm sure if you go back to one of our October episodes, one of us more than likely said that no one saw this coming. And when I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure in our early episodes, in our division predictions, I had them coming in like third to last.
it's funny you say that because I could pull that up right now, but it will take forever.
Yeah. I don't think I had them making the playoffs, so.
It's funny because I think we both had the Islanders sneaking a wild card.
Yep.
We
And Rangers, Devils, Hurricanes, top three. Maybe not in that order, but that was the top three.
I think we might have both had the Rangers.
I know I had them one.
Yeah, I think we both had. We might have. I think we both had the Rangers coming out of the that stupid thing. What's it called?
The Metro?
Yes, the Metro. Shut up. I'm trying to find our predictions now because I'm actually very curious on how badly we botched this.
I think I had the Rangers, Carolina, New Jersey.
I definitely had Carolina. I definitely had. I want to say I had Jersey in there.
I mean, hey, before this season started, why the hell else would you who else would you pick besides the Rangers, Carolina, and New Jersey to be top three?
Listen, that's very fair. I'm trying to see if I can find this.
I believe in you.
Oh, that makes one of us. Oh, wow, we are ugly.
We knew that.
All right, here we go. My division predictions. Rangers, Devils, Hurricanes, Islanders in the wild card. Capitals, Flyers, Penguins, Blue Jackets.
Okay.
So, I guess in a weird kind of way, not as off as we thought.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, because the Devils and the Hurricanes both made it.
They made it, yeah.
The Rangers was the one we probably both botched the hardest. The Islanders didn't finish that far out of the wild card.
No, they didn't.
But I can only see my predictions. I don't know where yours are.
Oh, no. You can't make me look bad.
Oh, I found them.
No, boy.
Rangers, Devils, Hurricanes, Islanders. So our top fours were identical.
Yep.
You had the Capitals finishing second to last.
I thought their goaltending would be a problem. It wasn't.
We both ate poopy cock-a-doodoo on the Predators.
Oh, yeah. I think the whole world did. Come
on. We both gave the Red Wings way too much.
As per usual.
Listen, we're going to have to revisit this because it's going to be hilarious when we do.
Yeah.
We'll
table that.
Well, we're going to have to table that. But, okay. Cup final. Colorado, Washington. The Ice Crew in Washington also has Colorado, Washington. I think you know where they went.
Same way we're all going, I think.
Same way I went to.
Yeah. Washington will beat LA for me.
Washington will beat Colorado for me in 6 games. Listen, we've been saying it for I think we've been saying it pretty consistently for the last 2 months. It's Washington.
Yeah. Not only am I predicting a Game 7 win for Washington, Washington will win in overtime on the power play on a goal scored by Alex Ovechkin.
I subscribe to that.
And Capital One Arena will pretty much explode.
Actually, the Ball Arena will explode. Wait, you said Game 7 or Game 6?
In my bracket, they're home. Game 7.
Oh, Game 7. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, Capitals are going to be home throughout the whole playoffs once Winnipeg gets out.
Oh, yeah, true.
I thought you said 6. I don't know why.
Nah, 7. Like, we will be able to feel that here from Washington.
Oh, 100%. And, I just thought of an X factor that I think neither one of us considered in this. And because it's the playoffs, it's probably pretty important.
Mm,
What version of Logan Thompson are the Capitals going to get back?
true.
I did not think about that.
True.
I think, listen, they had Ovechkin break his leg and miss 3 weeks, and they were fine.
That's
So,
unbelievable.
I don't think they need to worry too much.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Man broke his leg, still scored 45 goals.
Still scored 45 goals, still broke the record.
Yep. And says, you know what? I would like some more, sir, and coming back next year.
Well, he already announced yesterday he's not retiring.
Yep.
Which I think I immediately texted you too, and I said he's going for the 1,000.
I think so too.
I think okay. Even 5 years ago, we all said that he wasn't going to break it. 860, 850. I don't think anybody thought he was going to break it. He broke it with a year left on his contract, and he's still scoring at a 35, 40 goal a season pace.
Yep.
I think he finished the year at 896. I don't think he didn't score.
He scored one more, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's 896. I don't think he went to 897.
I think he scored one more.
I'm going to double check it.
Okay.
Okay, 897.
Okay, yeah.
We figure. Let's just pretend here. Season starts the second week of October.
Yep.
He will hit 900 by the third week of October.
Yep.
That gives him plenty of time to hit 930, 935.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know because, we talk like the rumor has been for years that he wants to, when he retires, he's not retiring, but he's going back to Russia to play for a year or two because he wants to play at home.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I respect all that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like maybe those comments were made by him, not realizing how close to 1,000 he could actually get.
Yeah.
I could see maybe 1-year deals for him going forward after this contract expires.
Until he hits it.
Either until he hits it or just until
he can go no more.
Or just until like
he's like, I'm done.
If he turns around next year and he puts together like a 20-goal season,
yeah,
like he's not sticking around. And I don't blame him.
No, he needs to keep a pace where he'll get to 1,000 from now in the next 3 years.
Yeah, and in 3 years puts him. So he turns 40 before the preseason next year.
Yeah.
So does he want to play here till he's 43?
I think he has to score 35 next year for him to keep on trying.
If he scores between 35 and 40 next year, I think he'll try.
Yeah.
I think if and listen, it is Ovechkin. It's not going to happen. But if he turns around and he ends up at like 915,
yeah,
he's not staying. He's done.
No, because he's still going to need 3 years to do that.
Yeah, which kind of sucks because I would like to see him do it. And you know what? I think a lot of people grossly neglect the fact that 04-05 lockout, the 2012-13 48-game season lockout.
Yep.
The COVID canceled season.
Yep.
And the COVID 56-game season. First of all, he should have broke this record like 3 years ago. Okay? Like he should have broke this record 3 years ago already.
The math is there, yeah.
Well, you think about it. So we missed a full season in 04-05. So you missed 82 games there.
Mm-hmm.
We canceled the season for COVID with between 18 and 20 games left. So let's shoot low. Let's call it 18.
Yep.
Right? So the 48-game season for the lockout in 2012-13, so they missed 34 games there. And then you miss another 26 in the 56-game season.
Yep.
So he missed 160 games of his career.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
get
right.
me wrong, other people miss those games too. But you figure at a guy who scores, so 160 games, he's for a career, let's see, 1,491 games played, 897 goals. So he's about half a goal per game pace.
Yep.
So you're talking probably realistically like 100 goals off the table.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You could be at. Yeah.
My heart tells me he's going to go for it.
So yeah, mine does too.
I think, and listen, don't get me wrong. He goes to Russia at 45 to play a season, and he's not the Ovechkin he was. Every team is still going to offer him a contract.
Yeah.
the merchandise and the shirts and the jerseys that team will sell for a year.
Oh my God. Endless.
This is going to be one of the more eventful playoffs, and I like to say on here from time to time how Gary Bettman is the best of the 4 sports commissioners, and I will die on that sword.
Considering 2 of them are hot, steaming garbage that's on a high bar.
Right, yeah, and listen, we're not going to name any names because we don't want to do that. But we are talking about Rob Manfred and Adam Silver. Probably, listen. Okay, let's do a tangent here. We have some time. Silver is the worst by far. It's not even close.
I don't know enough about the NBA to.
All right. Well, here's the thing, though: is you do know enough. Okay, the rest days, the maintenance days, the egregious playoff All-Star game that everybody absolutely slammed this year. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, and I do think the play-in tournament's the dumbest thing in the world.
The play-in tournament. I do think one of the good things he's done is the play-in for the playoffs now that they do. 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9.
Yeah.
Let's call it as it is. It's a cash grab. It's extra basketball, advertisement, revenues. I understand all that, but it is fun. I'm not a basketball fan. I know you're not either, but I can see the appeal to it.
Mm-hmm.
Manfred,
oh God,
is just changing. Like he's made baseball not baseball.
He has done such a detriment to the in-person product of Major League Baseball. It's crazy.
So
the pitch clock and all that works so well for TV, and I support that from a TV standpoint. In person, it sucks. You get up to get an ice cream, and you miss 2 innings.
So there's changes about there's changes from the MLB that I do like, and there's changes that I don't, like you said. The 2 I hate the most. We're inevitably getting the ABS next year.
Yeah,
and I hate it.
I really hope they keep it to the 1 challenge per at bat thing, but I know they won't.
So the thing I hate with it is, okay, you're an umpire, or you were
at one point.
Are you perfect?
No.
Did you miss a ball on the strike call every once in a while?
Of course.
That's the point of the game. It's human error. Now, listen, when you have Angel Hernandez ringing up a ball on a strike literally middle, you play MLB, you get the reference. Not good.
This whole thing is his fault.
But now, my problem is when you're watching a baseball game and there's a pitch high, and it's called a strike, and it
Yeah.
gets reviewed, and they have the audacity on the graphic for the replay to show, oh yeah, it's high by a quarter of an inch. I don't care who you are, what you do. You can never ever blame the umpire for a quarter of an inch of a miss.
No.
You want to blame him for a 6-inch miss, a foot miss? Yeah, you blame
Sure.
him.
Yeah.
A quarter inch off the zone or a quarter inch off the plate is the most egregious thing I think I've ever seen.
It's so silly. And like, there's a common, what everyone says who really loves baseball is nobody gets mad for the most part about an umpire calling a weird strike zone as long as it's consistent. If you want to call a ball in the dirt a strike, as long as you do it to everybody, I'm not going to really complain.
Well, that's that's the thing. Like you see players and managers argue all the time. It's, well, you're calling it a strike for us, but you're calling the balls for them. Like, okay, yes, that is a problem. You need to be more consistent with that call. But if you're consistently going to call a low curveball a strike or a high fastball a ball, I don't care. Call it both.
At least we know. Yeah.
As long as you're calling it for both sides, okay. Like, okay, your zone is a little bit bigger than others, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's the same size zone for every person.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, Judge is going to have a bigger strike zone than probably Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
And just naturally, he's a
Of course, yeah.
he is a building. It happens.
Yeah.
But like, okay, but you'll have a guy on Friday umpire that knows that Judge is going to have a bigger zone than Lindor, and a ball clearly a strike on Judge is going to be a ball on Lindor. But you have a guy who comes in now on Saturday behind the plate, and he goes, okay, the strike zone goes from the parking lot to the hot dog guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so everything.
Yeah.
My other biggest gripe with Manfred, and I find I'm half right, half wrong, the Ghost Runner.
I can't stand the Ghost Runner.
The Ghost Runner is poop.
It's so bad.
Like, okay, so I understand the concept of the Ghost Runner. It is the equivalent to making hockey overtime 3-on-3 opposed to 4-on-4. What I think, and I think it should be this way all the time, is, and I said this about hockey too. First of all, you watch basketball, they go into a continuous overtime, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Now, I understand for hockey, you can't do continuous overtime on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, no,
you cannot do that.
No.
For baseball, I understand you don't want to do that either. But what I always felt should have been done was you play the 10th and the 11th inning as is, straight up, no one on base. If by the 12th, no one's on, put runners on the corners. Don't put a runner on second.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Because then at least you have a double play where a run's going to come in, or the latter. You know, it's you're going to score a shit ton of runs. That's how I understand. Listen, I understand it's a pace of play thing. It's not a offensive production thing. It's not a defensive production thing. But like, there is no appeal to watching extra innings baseball anymore.
No, not at all. And honestly, I mean, I'm a bit of a baseball purist. I love baseball. I know it's kind of losing steam with younger generations unless you've played baseball. Yeah, I think the average, even before any of these rules, the average baseball game was shorter than the average football game.
By far.
And I love football. I would rather watch a baseball game than football.
No doubt. And it's also like the inconsistency of the rules for the Ghost Runner. That just little things like that bother me. So, like, okay, you're pitching, I'm on second base.
Yep.
The run does not count for me in my stats if I score.
Mm-hmm.
but it hurts your ERA and your earned runs.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
it's got to be reciprocal.
It's got to either help both of us or hurt both of
Yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because now, if you want to get technical, should it affect on base percentage? No. But if it's not going to, I feel like it almost starts there. If it's not going to affect my on base percentage, then I shouldn't get credit for the run because I technically wasn't on the base.
Yeah.
And the pitcher shouldn't get hit with the ERA or the run scored. Like it just should
put the runner up. Yeah.
Listen, you go to a shootout in hockey. If both goalies go into the shootout at a 0-0 game, they both get the shutout.
Yeah. I mean, let's think. Imagine baseball was a business and this was money. They get audited and get destroyed if there was no reciprocal money. So
Right.
what? It doesn't make any sense.
But also, again, think about it from the NHL standpoint, though. Like, how fair would it be where, okay, the goal doesn't count for you, but it hurts the goalie's goal?
Yeah.
It's not right. Dumb. The pitch clock is something I've just kind of learned to get over because, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really affect the game that much.
Like I said, great for TV, awful in person.
Well, so I went to a Yankee game. It's probably 2 years ago now. It might be 3. How long? How long has Volpe been here? I was at the Yankee game for Volpe's first home run. That was 2 years ago. So it was the same thing. So we were up in the 400s. We had to go all the way down to the 100s to get ice cream. And that's legitimately it was ice cream. I'm not even just trying to.
Yep.
We went down at we went down to the middle of the third. We didn't get back till the end of the 5th.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I was in Atlanta. Me and my wife went to go get Dippin' Dots, and we missed 3 innings. It's awful for the in-person product.
It's almost
now
like
the timer in between innings. I'm with that. Ever since they put that in, cool. But it also, as someone who was a pitcher for 20 years, the pitch clock just pisses me off.
I agree with you. If they ever put a pitch clock in my wiffle ball league, I think my would explode. So I'm gonna throw my tinfoil hat on real quick because I think there's a reason why. I think there's got to be a reason for the pitch clock financially, and I'm going to conspiracy this out here.
Okay.
I think they want people getting to the building faster and spending money sooner. So, let's put it this way. So we go to the Met game tonight. We get there. What time? 7:10 game. They usually open the gates 5:30.
Yeah.
So we get there at 5:30. Now, okay, I'm hungry. You're not. So, I'm going to get food before I go to my seat no matter what.
Yeah.
But you're 50-50. You'll eat after the game. We'll go to the drive-thru after. But you also know if you get up, you're probably going to miss 2 innings.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it forces your pocket to all right, let me just get something before I get to my seat. So that way, if I do get hungry, I don't have to leave. I ate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The worst thing with the gifts, we got to get to the gift shop because then we'll miss half the game if we go there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to get you to spend money faster so you don't leave your seat.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It's not the craziest thing in the world.
So now Roger Goodell.
Ugh.
I don't think he's as bad as people think he is, but he's still not good.
He's gotten less bad.
So there's things I do and don't like. I don't like this stupid flag football kickoff we have now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I understand it, but now touchbacks come out to the 35. So it's you don't want people to get hurt. So you had, you do this stupid kickoff rule where no one can run until the guy catches the ball. But now when touchbacks come out to the 35, you're going to prompt kickers to keep the ball out of the end zone, and this guy is going to get blasted.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do here? I do like a lot of the things he's doing as far as expanding the game. Bringing games to London,
to
Germany, to Mexico, to Brazil. Those are things the game needs.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, he's great. Gary Bettman has done so much for hockey, taken so many risks of being the first.
Yep.
That none of the other 3 sports None of the other, however, baseball, football, basketball, soccer, the PWHL, the NLL, the lacrosse, the PLL, the Premier Lacrosse. No one else would have taken chances like this.
Mm-hmm.
He's expanded the game. We have the Global Series. We have insane things, just like not the Winter Classic. That's been going on for what 20 years now, almost.
Just about, yeah.
But you can have the Winter Classic in Florida this year, where it's going to be 60 degrees. Only a psychopath would do that, but he knows he can do it.
Four Nations.
Four Nations, in my opinion, would probably be the second biggest and best thing he's done.
Yeah.
And I only say that because he signed for the NHL that ridiculous, $12 billion TV deal?
Yeah. Yep.
The last 2 weeks. That is unheard of.
Yep.
He brought the NHL back to ESPN. He basically abolished center ice and made ESPN Plus. Like, I would not have ESPN Plus for anything if the NHL wasn't on there.
No, me neither.
It's just the way, like, I think that we're going to look back on Bettman one day, because I think his last year is in 2028.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think we're going to look back on Bettman one day and we're going to realize this sport probably dies without him.
Yeah, he really has been something special.
And I don't get me wrong, there's things I don't like advertising wise. My biggest pet peeve in the playoffs has been that we don't put the playoff logo by the blue line anymore. And only because like we used to do the opening day one or the face off one, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the playoff one just it made it feel, oh shit, we're at a playoff game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it made you feel like
this
is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, we still see it on TV, but it's digital. And
it's not the same.
And it looks horrid.
Yeah.
I could get over the advertising on the boards thing, like the digital one that they show on TV. I can get over that. Listen, I mean, 3/4 of the time they're promoting their own garbage anyway.
Yeah.
I don't officially know who the helmet ads are. Like, is that a team decision or the league is making it optional?
I believe the league had to say this is something you can do, and then it's up to the team to do it.
Okay. The jersey ad does not bother me nearly as much as I thought it was going to.
I only say that. No, if the Rangers put an ad in their jersey, I would crash out.
So I feel like it depends on the ad. So like the Islanders have Solo Stove on their jersey this year.
I didn't even realize they had an ad until like a month ago. To be honest.
That's what I mean. It's one of those things where unless you go looking for it, you really don't notice it. And I'm trying to find it right now.
It can't be like Pittsburgh's, where the ad is just completely different colors than the team.
So here, I'll give you this one.
Yeah, it's
not bad.
No.
Like, don't get me wrong. Was I a fan of it? Not at first, no. But it's not egregious.
No, that's not bad at all.
I think the worst looking one, in my opinion, is the Capitals with the TikTok patch.
I think it's Pittsburgh just because the colors are nothing. It's a blue and white patch on a black and yellow jersey, I think.
So, cycling to the Rangers real quick, because listen, it's inevitable. We all thought the Yankees weren't going to ever put advertisements on their uniforms, let alone facial hair. It's coming. Just brace yourself. If you just did kind of like the Islander Solo Stove one, the words with the small logo on top of it, right here, if you just did an all white Chase with the Chase logo, totally fine. It'll work.
It'll work. Yeah. But I'm never buying a jersey.
I think that's silly.
I'm not giving them free advertising. I genuinely think The Rangers, the Blackhawks will hold out for as long as possible on that.
Until it's a mandate, I could see them holding out on it.
Because like the Rangers are not a team that need the money.
No.
Unlike like Anaheim or something.
Well, if I'm correct, they have Chase on the home helmets, and it's just the Ranger logo on the road helmet, right?
No, they have
Or is it
Sherwin
Chase?
Williams. I think it's a whatever paint.
Oh, Sherwin Williams is the home, Chase is the away. That's right. I think,
or Benjamin Moore, sure, one of those two.
It's paint, whatever.
It's just paint, yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
As long as they don't start doing like the Swedish Elite League with the advertising on the pants,
Oh God,
the jersey, and in the circles, like if you're gonna do stuff like that, like between you and I, just like save that for the All-Star game when you need to advertise the life out of the ice.
And look, I'm a huge soccer fan, and soccer is all about jersey ads, so it's not like I'm just not used to it. Hockey jerseys are just different, man.
No, and I think there's also that. I wouldn't say bias, but there's also that like it's not something we're used to seeing, and it's you know what I mean. Like even the advertising in the corners, like in the ice.
Yeah.
Like, do I care about it? Not particularly, because I'm kind of blind to it at this point. But it's something that we haven't it's only been around for 4 or 5 years, so we're not used to it
yet.
Yeah. So there goes our unofficial ranking of commissioners that we didn't know today.
That we stumbled upon.
Yeah. Well, listen, we said we were going to try to talk about more sports.
And we did.
Speaking of more sports, this is going to be a loaded weekend for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
So did you happen to see WWE might have spoiled night 2 like pretty heavily on accident?
No, really?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
If it's true, I'm going to tell you this: it's bad. Not bad, not like bad that it happens, but bad that it got out.
Okay.
So they posted this on Fanatics.
Yeah.
It is a belt, but it is a pillow. There's nothing out of the ordinary here, right?
Correct.
So let me read you the product description.
Oh no.
Celebrate CM Punk's title reign as champion with this undisputed championship title belt pillow from Big League Pillows. This luxuriously soft pillow features double-sided sublimated graphics, ensuring that CM Punk's undisputed championship title belt is displayed in all its glory. So anybody watching this weekend knows that CM Punk is nowhere near that match.
Interesting. I mean, hey, listen. I love CM Punk. Roman Reigns is not my tribal chief. CM Punk all the way. Interesting.
So, okay. I'm kind of with you. Like, I'm not angry if that happens, because it would definitely be like, oh, well, now I have to watch Raw Monday.
Yeah.
However they're going to do that needs to make sense, because at the end of the day, they should not be touching the Cena and Cody match.
No, they got to let that play out. I mean, I don't know, because like, do they not want Cena to win the belt this early in his retirement year? And they don't want him, but they also don't want him to lose clean. I don't know.
My biggest problem, though, is that now you have Randy Orton basically with nothing to do. And I think it's the worst.
He's going to be fighting a returning Aleister Black.
I think it's either going to be a returning Aleister Black, or I think it's going to be Nick Aldis's WrestleMania match. Because I don't put either of those past WWE, because I know people have been dying for Nick Aldis, FKA Magnus, to come back into the ring at some point. I think with Cena, you almost have to do it early. You cannot let him retire with the title. Like, he needs to win it now and lose it at SummerSlam.
Realistically, yeah.
Because the thing is the longer you go and the closer you get to the end, like just for argument's sake, if you get to like October and Cena's still the champion, and you have, let's say he gets into a program with, pick a name, Braun Breaker. It's like, okay, that's the guy beating Cena. There's no secrets here anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to not know when he's going to lose it. But if he's holding that title around December, like the first person that he makes eye contact with, it's like, okay, there he is.
I mean, hey, you know what? They could always have that ace up their sleeve in the Money in the Bank contract.
You know, one thing I was thinking about, and I'm not sure if they would do this, but they've been, Cena's whole thing on his promos has been, oh, well, I'm going to retire with this and I'm going to take it away. Is it possible that they do let him do that? And it's a segue into introducing a new title design that everybody's been very so heavily saying has been coming.
That very well could be.
In a weird kind of way, every week I'm less and less excited for Jay and Gunther.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, Gunther is, in my opinion, top 5 wrestler. Like, not character, wrestler on the roster.
Yeah.
Close.
Mm.
Jay is incredibly entertaining, but I feel like Jay is just the... Oh, here you go. I'm going to cut you off real quick. I'm going to cut myself off real quick. Jason Robertson officially listed week to week.
Oh, boy. GG's.
I feel like Jay is exactly what you'd want your casual viewing champion to be.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him and he's entertaining and he's exciting, but no real fans watching Raw and SmackDown every week. Like, I'm going to call us diehards for lack of better terms because I know we're keeping up on the shows every week.
Yeah.
No one is buying him as a champion right now.
Dude, I'm so sick of his 10-minute entrances.
Yeah, I
They're
thought
too long.
It's not even that I think the entrances are too long. It's, oh, well, we had to cut time to say, we had to cut this match for time. Well, because you're letting Jey Uso fling his arms around for 15 minutes.
And it's only fun for the people that are in person.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're just sitting there like this.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I hear Jey Uso's music hit, and I'm like, okay, I can go to the bathroom, make a sandwich, do the dishes.
Yeah,
still doing it. Worst kept secret in the world that Dom is going to pin Finn Balor for that IC title,
without a doubt,
without question. And if it's not Dom, it's Penta.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling when it comes to the Rey and El Grande Americano match. I have a weird feeling they're going to fight. Like, listen, all right. I'm going to let everybody know a little secret here. El Grande Americano and Chad Gable are the same fucking person. Sorry for my language.
Whoa.
I feel like they're going to find a way to somehow mess with that match. Whether it be like he goes under the ring or something or whatever. El Grande Americano is going to be wrestling, and Chad Gable's just going to walk out of nowhere, and it's going to destroy everybody's brain.
Well, did you see that video where they basically proved that El Grande Americano is 2 different people? Because he rolled over, and Chad Gable has that tattoo on his back, and it was visible, and then 5 minutes later, it happened. It was no tattoo.
So I'm glad you said that, only because if you looked at, there was someone else who did something, who did a side by side of the two, and I guess in last week's Raw, Chad Gable smashed up his knuckles pretty bad and had a whole line of scabs and cuts here,
and
so did El Grande Americano.
So
I mean, listen. I don't think they would go this heavy into it, but it's WWE. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
They could be just putting a pound of makeup on his back before he goes.
They could. Yeah, they could.
Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre might be the least exciting match on this card.
Couldn't care. I didn't even know that was a match.
It's a street fight.
Still don't care.
Yeah. So it's. I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest in a street fight on WrestleMania is just an excuse to bring blood into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, probably.
Which I'm fine with. That's fine, but it's just I don't like Damian Priest was much more entertaining when he was the world champion.
Yeah,
and listen, that guy's got 3, 4, maybe even 5 more world titles in his career coming because he is awesome.
Yes,
but this is just This is not it.
No.
Still waiting to find out what celebrities are going to get involved.
Mm.
Because The Rock is still TBD for this, unless that's a complete swerve curveball.
Mm.
I think there's so many matches I can't even remember. Rhea, Bianca, and Io, I am just not even excited for anymore because they have just beaten that story to death.
I don't understand it.
It went from a triple threat, then it wasn't a triple threat, then it was a triple threat again, then it wasn't, and now it's a triple threat again. So you made 6 weeks of hell to get right back to where we were.
I don't understand why we took the belt off Rhea in the first place.
My opinion is that was a Netflix thing. They needed to do that. Anything can happen on Netflix thing. Trying to think. Stone Cold's getting involved somehow. I don't know how. But
Somehow, some way.
He can't be off the show 2 years in a row.
No.
God, there's so many matches on this card. I can't. AJ Styles and Logan Paul is probably going to be the best match of the weekend.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be phenomenal. No pun intended. Because I caught that as it rolled off my tongue.
You have that weird women's tag titles match.
It's Bailey and Lyra and Liv and Raquel, right?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
I think Liv and Raquel are going to keep the titles for that one. I don't see don't get me wrong. I love Lyra. I think she's going to be awesome for the next 10 years, and she'll be a world champion at some point, like a women's world champion.
They just don't trust her yet to have her own match at Mania. That's the whole reason this is happening. I don't think
they don't trust her. I just think you don't need to double champ her right now.
No, they're not going to, but I don't think they could come up with a match for her. And they couldn't come up with a match for the women's tag titles, like a regular one. So I'll throw her with Bailey. I don't know. Kind of weird.
For the women's tag titles, for me, it should have been, because I don't know if she has a match. It should have been, if you were going to double champ anybody, it had to be Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
You could have done Raquel and Liv versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven.
Yeah.
And listen, with this whole presidential USA gimmick Chelsea Green is going right now, that would have been an amazing entrance.
Yeah, for real.
I think you could have went that direction, and you could have done just Lyra and Bailey instead of doing it last week. You could have done it this week or this weekend.
Yeah.
God, this card is huge. I don't remember half of it.
Charlotte and Tiffany.
Charlotte's going to win that match, and it's making me sick.
Yeah, I hate her so much.
Tiffany needs to win that match in the worst way.
Yeah, if anyone's watching this that has any ties to WWE, I'm not saying I hate Charlotte as oh God, I hate her as a heel. Oh, I hate her as a person, and I wish she was not on my TV. I'm going to turn the match off probably.
You know what my thing is though with her is I don't mind her. She's a very good heel and a very good wrestler. But it's almost like everything they did with Roman Reigns, they learned nothing with Charlotte. We clearly do not want people forced down our throats.
Yeah.
You are forcing her down our throat.
Continuously.
I do not, it's not that I do not care about her. I do not need to see her in a main event title match or in a title match generally. Every single show, every single pay-per-view, every single WrestleMania.
Dude, she leaves for 6 months, comes back, immediate title shot, and then again leaves for 6 months, and the same thing happens.
To me, that's a total slap in the face to the women's locker room that she was out for a full year plus, came back and won the Royal Rumble immediately.
It's absurd.
And don't get me wrong, I think we both know they write their shows backwards, right?
Yeah.
So after this weekend, they're writing WrestleMania 42 and working backwards towards probably mid-May, whatever. So if that was always the plan, it's okay, I get it. But at the same time, I do look at the women's roster, and I'm kind of like, okay, if not Charlotte, who? Because, like we said, you aren't going to give it to Lyra. You don't have any of the women in NXT. Because if you don't trust Lyra, you don't trust any of the women in NXT yet.
I would, if they're going to give it to someone like returning, I would have rather them let Alexa Bliss win.
Another one has nothing to do with this weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
I think probably 2 Jason Robertson officially out game 1.
Kill me.
But they say he's week to week, but it seems like this is basically saying they're going to determine his status game by game.
Dude, you know the NHL is annoying with injuries.
Yeah. It's too soon to give Jade a rumble like that. She didn't need she could have used it, but she was in the middle of her own thing.
Yeah.
That's where this gets really tricky, is because what other woman was winning that match?
They could have built someone.
They could have.
Annoying.
I can't think of any other matches off the top of my head, although there's probably like 4 staring me right in the forehead that I just can't think about. Because I know tonight there's WrestleMania matches. I think tonight's Street Profits and Motor City Machine Guns for the tag titles.
Mm.
The Andre the Giant Battle Royal is tonight.
Yep.
There's no pre-show matches anymore, which is weird. They do it on SmackDown.
Dude, I don't know.
I don't
think it's
yeah. Listen, I think this can easily be one of the best WrestleManias, depending on story, and it could also easily just be one of the worst.
Sure. You can say that again.
But I'll tell you this: Paul Heyman is not leaving with CM Punk or Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins.
Very interesting.
So, well, think about it this way, right? I'm sure you've been paying attention to the news.
Yeah.
It's very, very convenient to me that Brock Lesnar is getting blacklisted the week of WrestleMania, huh? So he's not going to leave with Punk. He's not going to leave with Roman. And he's not going to leave with Seth Rollins. I think Paul Heyman's going to turn around and he's going to go, all right, screw all 3 of you. Music hits, he comes out.
My baby Brock.
You know, I would like to see Brock get a proper, obviously once all of his personal stuff clears up, if there's any legitimacy to that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him get a proper send-off, being, not WrestleMania 39 in the opening match versus Omos.
Yeah.
But no more world titles, please.
Yeah, for real.
But okay, you have to go. I have to go prepare for my debut tonight.
Don't let me down.
Listen, I got the call up. I got a show out now. Although I'm 60 pounds heavier than the last time I played and not wearing goalie pads. So
the team we're playing is kind of cheeks. So
perfect. So I'm still going to do nothing. I'll be a distraction.
There you go.
What position am I playing anyway? Am I playing up or am I playing back?
Probably forward.
Okay, good, because I can't play defense to save my life. I'm very good at getting crouching and blocking shots, but that's about it. And if you think I'm blocking shots as a fill-in, you're out of your mind.
I don't blame you.
So, enjoy your WrestleMania. Enjoy your playoffs this weekend. Easter doesn't count. That's secondary to all this.
That's in the back seat.
It's in the back seat. Tyler Dell alongside Andrew Mikaria. Again, thank you for spending almost an hour and a half with us. This is one of our longer ones.
Right.
Listen, I told you, when we get going, we can go and make it sound.
This is true.
Yes. Enjoy your Easters. Enjoy your WrestleManias. Enjoy your baseballs and playoffs and whatever else you're watching this weekend. We will see you. We're not committing to a date anymore. We'll see you sometime next week.
We'll see you sometime soon.
We'll see you in the near future.
Yeah.